All right, another news break ahead of the elections in 5 states. A new alliance is being cobbled, and at the helm is TRS chief K. Chandrashekhar Rao, trying to bring together various parties to throw their weight behind Akhilesh Yadav's campaign in Uttar Pradesh. We've learned that KCR is trying to bring together anti-bjp forces on a single platform and is likely to campaign against the Yogi government in UP. Sources indicate this is another attempt at trying to get together a third front. Hectic parleys are going on between KCR and several political leaders.
It's a very good move by KCR, and where Tejasvi Yadav has met and all the other regional parties are coming. And we know that there is going to be a right time when we would all announce our move, but we know that Congress is not fighting BJP, and it has to be the regional forces which has to fight BJP, and we will all be united, and at the right time, right decision would be taken by Janata Dal.
This endeavor on the part of Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, etc., of making a formidable opposition without Congress does not seem very practical. Well, Congress also could be one of the associates in the formation of anti-bjp front. In any event, attempts are being made by various secular leaders, even from the north, east, west and south, that a formidable opposition to replace the current BJP or NDA rule is the need of hour, and very soon it is going to emerge.
पिछले दिनों तेलंगाना के मुख्यमंत्री के चंद्रशेखर राव जी से नेता प्रतिपक्ष यूथ आइकॉन तेजस्वी प्रसाद यादव की मुलाकात हुई। इस मुलाकात से देश की राजनीति को एक नई दिशा मिली है, और जिस तरह से देश में नफरत और भ्रष्टाचार तथा महंगाई की राजनीति हो रही है, किसानों के खिलाफ जो सरकार का रवैया है, उसके खिलाफ एक मजबूत गोलबंदी का अभियान शुरू हो गया है, और उसमें राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष श्री लालू प्रसाद के दिशा निर्देशन में महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका तेजस्वी प्रसाद यादव निभाने का काम करेंगे। और 2024 के पहले 2022 की जो 5 राज्यों का चुनाव है, उसके बाद देश की राजनीति को एक नया आयाम मिलेगा, और उसमें तेजस्वी प्रसाद यादव की महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका होगी।
All right, Soumit is joining us live from Hyderabad. We also have Amir Haq joining us from Lucknow, Megha Prasad for a national perspective. Soumit, I first want to ask you, it's interesting that K. Chandrashekhar Rao says he is bringing together an anti-BJP coalition. Aren't they impressed with the leaders who have already pitched an anti-BJP coalition, like Arvind Kejriwal and Mamata Banerjee?
Well, you know, since last few days, CM KCR has been meeting several opposition leaders, from across states, and recently we can see he has met MK Stalin at the CM camp office in Tamil Nadu, and later after that, CPI national leader, and also Chief Minister of Kerala, Pinarayi Vijayan, and also the opposition leader of Bihar, and even he has met a few AP ministers, and he's been trying this since last a few months, we can say, even in last municipal elections during the polls. He has also mentioned that he will be inviting all the opposition leaders, excluding the INC, to the Telangana, and to mainly to form a national front, third or federal front against the INC and the BJP, and we can clearly say NDA. And he's also trying. The opposition here is saying that after several eyebrows are up, several speculations raised, he's meeting several opposition leaders, and even the opposition parties here are saying that he is trying to deviate the allies of the UPA, not the NDA, and several speculations have been raised. However, there is no confirmation from the TRS, but they are saying that TRS has confirmed that they will be campaigning for the SP party, and they will be also meeting other opposition leaders across the country, and this clearly suggests that TRS chief is trying himself to portray as a national leader, or else he is trying to make a third or federal front, as announced during last parliament polls.
All right, stay with me, Soumit. But what is also interesting is that even as efforts at trying to put together a front continue, not everyone is willing to come on the same platform. Congress and CPI are not interested or impressed with KCR's efforts. Listen.
This is a clear-cut is a hidden agenda known to all, that anti-BJP votes should be splitted. For that purpose, he is moving earth and heaven by forcing that he is all India leader, and also he wanted to build up a third front. So it is not sincere. If it is sincere, he should mobilize all anti-BJP forces, including the national parties. So in that aspect, he is not moving. That means everybody got doubt, including our party. He is not sincere enough and sincere efforts to defeat BJP.
All his populist schemes that he has announced and the programs, policies that he has announced towards Dalits and then minorities have not been implemented, and they're slowly now coming to the Congress. So now he wanted to obstruct that process and then redirect the minorities towards them. The only path for him is that portray himself that he is fighting against Narendra Modi. So as of now, I see KCR is completely confused, and he wants to confuse the people of Telangana, and he also wants to confuse the people of the leaders of various political parties across the country. I don't think he has a serious intent to fight against Narendra Modi and Bharatiya Janata Party.
All right, Amir Haq is live with us from Lucknow. Of the parties mentioned, maybe not so much the TRS, but the others, for example, the RJD, how much influence do they hold in any seat in Uttar Pradesh? Amir.
Padmaja, you've seen in the past that there have been various attempts by the regional parties here, especially the SP and the BSP, to cobble together a third front whenever they saw challenge emerging at the center. And over the last 7-8 years, especially after 2014, ever since Prime Minister Modi became the Prime Minister there at the center, there have been a number of occasions when these parties have tried to come together to vanquish BJP so as to create a momentum. And you would definitely understand that with 403 assembly seats and 80 Lok Sabha constituencies, Uttar Pradesh is definitely the most crucial state as far as forming a third front or taking along such smaller parties who can actually help make a bigger alliance of parties who can actually stand up against the BJP. It has happened in 2017 when the Congress party, the RLD and Samajwadi party came together for the assembly elections. The results drew a knot. In 2019, SP came together with the BSP. That also did not help. So for the time being, it seems that Akhilesh Yadav is trying to concentrate on the coming assembly elections here, because the results will be out by March 10, and then perhaps he would be in a better position to ascertain as to how to go about forming a third front, or whether to ally with KCR and other elements from across the country. But yes, we've seen support from various quarters emerging for Akhilesh Yadav, like the NCP as well as the TMC.
Okay.
Although it still remains to be seen as to how cogently it comes together around the time elections happen here.
All right, stay with me. Let's see how the BJP is reacting to all of this.
That means he is considering Bharatiya Janata Party as his threat in Telangana. That is why he is bouncing all over the country. Now, I think father and son both are a little confused. They are one side saying non-UPA and non-NDA. Then what made him go and meet Stalin? Is Stalin not part of UPA? He has categorically plenty of times said that he is going with Congress even in future. So this clearly states he is frustrated with the Bharatiya Janata Party activity in Telangana.
All right, Megha, since you also cover Parliament, in colloquial language, what is the TRS's deal? Because many people keep wondering, he, since 2018, has been trying to form this front against the BJP, yet there are many murmurs about how they behave inside Parliament when it comes to voting on several critical bills.
Padmaja, from the time this story sort of started getting circulated and people talking about it, I was actually wondering, if TRS is genuinely honest about this endeavor of theirs or this effort of theirs, trying to meet Stalin or trying to meet Tejasvi Yadav is one thing, but to very seriously electorally try to take on the BJP is quite another. Have they done that till now? No. Officially, if you were to ask his party, they will tell you that for the last 3 years, their leader has been trying to, cobble up an alliance against the BJP. Remember, Padmaja, last 2019 elections, Chandrababu Naidu made a very fervent effort to do this. And that time he was serious about it. He went flying across the country, meeting all sorts of leaders of smaller parties, right from Sharad Pawar down to Mamata Banerjee, everybody.
Yes.
What happened to that effort? Nothing came out of it. Then you see Mamata Banerjee just 2-3 months back, flying all the way to Mumbai, meeting Sharad Pawar, meeting other leaders, coming to Delhi, meeting the Congress. And then what happened in the parliament in this session? Remember, the actual fight in the parliament was between Congress and TMC. That is where the fight was in the Rajya Sabha, between Congress and TMC. And I can tell you, because I've been speaking to leaders from all parties, the kind of stuff they say, that Congress guys say about the TMC, they don't even speak about the BJP. That's the kind of bitterness which is existing there.
Tell us what they say. Tell us what the TMC says about the Congress. We would love to hear that. What are they telling you in Central Hall?
Without taking the name of the very senior leader in the Congress party in the parliament, I had this conversation where he said that the TMC guys feel that Rahul Gandhi is going to come in the way of Mamata Banerjee becoming the Prime Minister of this country. And then he laughed at his own statement. So, it is one thing for an attempt to be made, and that too by a party which is genuinely regional. I mean, TRS, for that matter, is not a party beyond Telangana.
Remember that this attempt, like Megha just mentioned, has been going on for the last 4 years. And that's the question I want to put across to Mr. Rajgopal and Sanjeev Srivastava both. How seriously should we take this attempt? Because there is still time for the 2024 election. I think it's safe to assume that right now these parleys are all going to be headed towards 2024. Mr. Rajgopal.
Let's exercise, Padmaja. The reason being, Mr. K. Chandrashekhar Rao went to Chennai. He had a long meeting with Mr. M.K. Stalin. The very next day, DMK sidelined it, trashed the report, saying that there is going to be a federal front or whichever front they want to convey. But at the same time, if Mr. Chandrashekhar Rao goes to UP, he can canvass at best Varanasi, Allahabad, Ayodhya, where Hindus from South India, especially from Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, go and worship Kashi Vishwanath. Beyond that, Mr. Chandrashekhar Rao has no appeal. In that case, will DMK, M.K. Stalin, will go to Lucknow, speak for Mr. Akhilesh Yadav. Will he speak in English, Hindi, Tamil or Telugu? Which language he is going to address? So Hindi comes as a, again...
Okay, that would be indeed interesting. But like I said, I think the understanding is there that this is just a precursor. The real effort is towards 2024. But my point is, Sanjeev Srivastava, why should somebody like a Mamata Banerjee or an Arvind Kejriwal play ball with this kind of a coalition when they've made it very clear that they are the ones who want to be the national leaders, not part of some ragtag group?
See, Padmaja, politics is the art of making the impossible possible. Everybody is trying different formulations, different combinations. Everybody has their own vested interest. So, yes, you are right. Mamata wants to be a national leader, a prime ministerial candidate. Arvind Kejriwal is harboring national ambitions, and that's why he's reaching to states like Goa, Manipur, even Punjab. They are serious contenders. So there are a lot of hats in the ring, which makes BJP's task both easy and difficult. Because these 5 state assembly elections, particularly the result of Uttar Pradesh, will be very crucial as to determining the kind of course Indian politics takes. Who will be the new bedfellows? Will be the strange bedfellows or comfortable bedfellows? But definitely there is anybody, whether it was Mrs. Indira Gandhi or now Narendra Modi, anytime a central leader becomes very powerful, and the center and the main nationalist party becomes very powerful, other smaller groups, regional parties try and gravitate against it to try and have their own lever of influence, their own pound of flesh or whatever, or their own political space. So these are natural things. But what shape will it take? Who will come together finally with whom? Will Mamata and Rahul cross each other out? Will KCR and Congress cross each other out? Because there is a lot of, in Telangana, not only BJP is the player, even if Congress was vanquished.
Well, there's a lot happening and it's very good for us because it keeps all of us very busy with our speculation and hypothesizing of what could possibly happen. So we'll leave it at that. I'm unfortunately completely out of time. Both gentlemen, thank you very much for joining.